All right. Let me turn this down. Oh, it's already down. Good morning, everybody. How you doing? It's Friday. Funky Friday on the Morning Night Live, and we're going to talk about what's happening in the world this morning. And one of the big things on my favorite source for news, well, apparently some people at Twitter are getting their pink slips today. And I feel bad for the people in a way that are getting them, because I don't know how they made the choices, and hopefully they did it on some meritocracy oriented system, or maybe just got rid of some of the bloat. But whatever it is, I know when other people have lost jobs for various reasons around the world, not a whole lot of people weren't so charitable, and I don't guess that there's going to be some people, or I'm guessing that there's going to be some people who aren't going to be so charitable about this tragic loss of jobs in California. But it may cause a certain new owner of Twitter some more problems than it's worth, but who knows? When I suppose when you're worth as much as he is, you can sometimes manage a loss. Anyway, we'll get into that right after the intro. Johnny, play the intro.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only Dawg Knight.
Oh, yeah. Good morning, everybody. Music's already stopped. Hi there. There's my face. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as Dawg Knight on the internet. And welcome back to the Dawg Knight Channel on Friday. It's the weekend's coming, November 4th, 2022. I got some family members who got birthdays coming up. I got to remember that. It was on November. My daughter's birthday's coming up, too. The one and only Allie P. Anyway, hi. I hope you're having a good morning. I am. Even though I'm later than usual, but it's becoming a kind of a normal thing. I should just say 9:15 or whatever it is equivalent in your time zone, because it just seems to work out that way every day nowadays. I'm trying to get them to get me out of work earlier. Plus, I should probably prepare more at night now that I need to do two different and soon 3 different places where I got to set up this stream. It just, I don't know. Maybe I should just focus on getting the show open and worry about getting tabs and stuff open later. But I don't know. It's whatever. Anyway, good news. They already know how to code. Yeah. Well, no, not necessarily. That's the thing. I don't know that the people that they're going, I'm talking about Twitter because I saw what H.P. Lovecraft said. Some of these people may not know how to code. I don't know that all these people at Twitter who work at Twitter know how to code. I'm sure there's a bunch of them that do. But I got a feeling that they're getting rid of some of the dead weight, some of the management heavy stuff. And because, well, it's hard to tell what they do. They know how to click buttons that tell you that you did something bad. And they know how to they know how to make sure that you have the proper amount of wokeness, I guess. I don't know. I hate to use that word because that word is becoming, I don't know. It's becoming passé. It's kind of like, I don't know what it is. Anyway, we'll see. We're going to find out over the next month, but they're getting rid of about half of their employees. It's about 3,700 employees, some in California, some in different parts of the world. And there's some laws that may make this a pain in the ass for Elon Musk, or it be like he knows the law and whatever. He doesn't care. We'll find out. But we're not going to find out before I say hello to everybody, because, that's just how I am. First in chat today on both ends, on Rumble and on YouTube is Avocados Diabli. Well done, sir. Good morning. Also, good morning on the Rumble side, Simon Wolfwood and Mike Savage. Blarg. Simon says those Twitter employees need to learn robotics. If the $15 per hour minimum wage ever goes through, fast food restaurants will be manned by robots and one robot service. It's going to be, well, I don't know. I don't even know if they need the 15-hour minimum wage. I mean, the thing is, nobody works for minimum wage. No one works for whatever. Is it $7.50? I don't even know what it is, because all the fast food restaurants around where I live are paying $12, $15, $18. California, this was, what year did we go to California? That was in 2019. My son graduated college, we took a trip down the West Coast. Drove basically from Portland all the way to San Diego, and then hung out a few days in Vegas after that. And in San Francisco, the In-N-Out burgers down by the wharf were paying $21 an hour to work at In-N-Out Burger, because they needed the market, and the cost of living is going to be a factor in how much people pay in different parts of the country. Having a single minimum wage in this country is just asinine, because the people who try to enforce those decisions live on the coast, where the cost of living is a lot more, and you have a harder time getting workers. They might need to pay more to get people to work there versus Scottsbluff, Nebraska. And they don't need a $15 minimum wage in Scottsbluff, Nebraska, or name a town in Wisconsin or Idaho or some little, podunk town in the middle of Colorado. Steelwood, Colorado doesn't need a $15 minimum wage, because the cost of living is different there. Now, it may change with the fact that we don't have any diesel fuel to deliver shit to any of these small towns, but we'll see. Anyway, let me continue to say good morning on the YouTube side. Somnambul Nation, welcome to the show. Tyre Alexander, or also known as Tyrannius Alexandrius Tremerlich. Also, good morning to Lord Stanhope, Rotten Corpse. T-Ball is in the house. Nice. Welcome back. Why is my monitor down so low? Let's see. Trippy Liberty, what's up, Trip? Keenan's here. Higgs here. Good morning, sir. I already said Avocado because he was the bell guy. Also, Jay Pylon's in the house. Good morning, sir. Good morning also to Unacceptable Views, another one of my favorite Canadians. H.P. Lovecraft's in the house. Mike Savage, Blarg. Wait, I already did a Blarg for you? Well, anyway. Hail the King in Yellow. Who's the King in Yellow? I don't know. Flip Burgers, Twitter nitwits. Oh, man. Weird. I see there's very little love for the Twitter people. So anyway, won't work. They have to urge the cancel order. Burger flips too far to the right, and then the business will lose money on all the wasted product. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, they'll have some connections. Anyway, biggest topic on the planet at the moment is the fact that, oh, by the way, thank you. Hate Camel, thank you, Somnambul Nation, for tweeting out the show. I greatly appreciate it. All right. By the way, like, share, subscribe, and while most of you are a subscriber, I wouldn't be able to talk to you in the chat. And also, share the stream. Please share. And then, I didn't reset this either. Let me reset I thought I did that. I already did this. I thought I reset the Superstar Donor of the Day. And if you want to sponsor the show, you can do so at pdognight.live. I can't, why am I sitting in the wrong place? It's weird. I have to sit farther this way. pdognight.live or super chats. Wait, it did it again. Why is this not resetting? I've reset this twice. Done. Oh, that's weird. It will not let me reset the Superstar Donor of the Day. Reset stream labels. Successfully restarted. It should go to 0. And it's not going to 0. Well, I'll just have to monitor that manually. Also, good morning to Nomads in the house.
Stop. Hammer time.
Wow, that was very loud. All right, let's get into it. So the biggest topic of the day right now in Twitterville is the fact that some of the the twatters, what do they call the people who work at Twitter? Twitter layoffs is the number one topic on the planet right now. And if you go on to Twitter right now, you will find that, well, it's not number one. Actually, it's number two. The top topic on Twitter right now is probably having something to do with Friday. Oh, wait, did it change? Nope, Drake is trending number one, and apparently he's got a new album or new something. I don't care about Drake. I don't care. Right now, Twitter layoffs, number two was the biggest topic all morning. And Andy No, this picture, I got this picture from Andy No. It says that Human Resources Associate Lindsay Kander posted unprofessionally about herself, crying uncontrollably in reaction to the Twitter layoffs led by Elon Musk. Whatever, Ben Collins says an article. But I got the idea of learn to weld from Gary Edwards, and I was like, ugh. And I put it in question marks because I don't know that people who are into coding want to learn how to weld. Besides, they already know how to code, so they can get jobs, other tech. Tech is not going away. There's going to be tech everywhere, and I'm not so worried about these people getting jobs again, unless they're not the coders. Like I said, Twitter is pretty heavy in management. Twitter is pretty heavy in people who decide whether or not you're allowed to say what you're going to say. It has a lot of people who are just out there sniffing around the Twitterverse, making sure that you don't make fun of anybody the wrong way, or that you have the wrong political views, or whether or not you were going to do some policing whether or not you might say the wrong thing about certain medical things and procedures and elections shit and whatever. And so it's basically it's a company full of Karens. And so I'm hoping that Elon decides that, we have too many Karens. We need to have more sensible people who are actually, if you're going to say that you're trying to make Twitter a safe God, I hate these words. I hate these words. A safe place for people. Well, first of all, words cannot hurt you. Sticks and stones break your bones, but words cannot hurt me, right? But they also have to stay abreast of laws in different countries where Twitter operates. Now, I heard a thing about something that happened with Rumble, and I'm going on this because I think it's important that something that Rumble did recently. Rumble, the place where I'm also streaming this, I recently got in trouble with some official in the country known as France, right? And France demanded that Rumble take down a couple of creators on their site, apparently who might have been a little too Russian friendly, I think, or something like that. Anyway, they posted some videos about things that the country of France didn't like. And France is saying, hey, you got to take that down by our laws, blah, 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 blah. And what Rumble did in response to that was they disabled Rumble in France instead. And said, fuck it. We're not a French company. We're doing what we're doing, right? And so I don't know how that's going. I don't know why that's going in France. How that's going in France. But I think it's great. I think Twitter needs to tell us, especially some of these countries that are very, whatever, speechless. I don't care. Block Twitter in, China. Who cares? Which it already is. Now, there are concerns about the fact that some of the financing for this deal that Elon Musk did has come from Saudi Arabia. There's a new uproar about whether or not the Sauds own some of Twitter. But the Sauds already own part of Twitter, a great significant portion of Twitter, when it was a public company. So I don't know what that argument's about either. But anyway, let's go into the articles because there's a whole bit. Well, this is the thread, Twitter layoffs hashtag, which is number 2 on the trending topics. Some people, I will not rejoice in people. This is someone named Geisha in Limbo. I will not rejoice in people losing jobs during the Twitter layoffs today, but I will point out that so many of the people clutching their pearls right now had nothing to say when people were being laid off without notice, left and right, due to COVID policies. Now that's fascinating because there were a lot of people who did have a lot to say. They said, well, if you don't do it, that's your choice. Your choice to not follow the rules. Some folks hand-wringing over Twitter layoffs wanted you fired, jailed, and your children taken away during the pandemic for disagreeing with them. I won't celebrate people losing jobs, but if the oft-TikTok Silicon Valley elite adult daycare life is hard for normies to connect with. I see. He was saying he wasn't making a question. He was making a statement. First, Twitter layoffs now downsize the federal government by 90%. Oh, hell yes! That's where we see. I would if Elon Musk could buy the federal government and then do the layoffs, that would be fantastic. That would save us tons of money. But there's a lot of people who are very upset. Oh, Dinesh D'Souza, Twitter employees signed up to be good Nazis and collaborate in enforcing the party line. This was never about hate speech, but about shutting down the political opposition. Now it's Nuremberg time. Letting them go is a lenient way of dealing with these things, these thugs, Twitter layoffs. That's pretty harsh. Anyway, let's look at the stories that some of the main media is talking about on this. Twitter employees... blah, blah, blah. Easy for me to say. Hello, Selecta Boy.
Yeah, boy.
Twitter temporarily closes offices as layoffs begin. The layoffs begin. And again, I feel bad for people losing their jobs, but, they will get fine jobs. It was kind of a cushy job. We saw that video of the day in the life of a Twitter employee. Holy shit. I'll go make a latte, then I'll go eat lunch at the special cafeteria, then I'll go at a meeting, and then I'll go have a relaxation time in the relaxation room, and then I'll go have a short meeting, and then I'll go get some gourmet food in the cafeteria that's really just a restaurant inside the place, and then I'll go and go meditate, and then I'll have a meeting, and then I'll have some free wine out of the wine dispenser in the wine dispensary room. I mean, it's like, wow. It seems like, and it's funny because one of the things Elon Musk was saying is that Twitter employees would have to work out of the offices. And they were complaining they would have to work out of the office, and then these people were like mad. And then I saw the life of a Twitter employee is like, I want to work in your office. I want to go have lattes and yoga and free wine at the end of the day. I mean, what the hell wouldn't you want to go there for? Of course, you have to drive around in San Francisco, and you have to move through San Francisco. And then you'd be like, oh, that makes a lot of sense because you gotta avoid the shit piles, right? Anyway, Twitter Inc. temporarily closed its offices and cut workers' access to internal systems on Friday after telling employees they would be informed by email later in the day about whether they were being laid off. Damn. Oh, my gosh. Whoops.
Your life makes me sad.
The move follows a week of uncertainty about the company's future under new owner Elon Musk. Well, uncertainty about the company's future? There's always uncertainty about every company's future. Oh, wait. Twitter's wine room has no actual wine, spelled W-H-I-N-E. Yeah, they need a wine room, where they can go and wine. Good morning. Why are you so angry, by the way? Social media company said in an email to staff it would tell them by 9 a.m. Pacific time on Friday about staff cuts. In an effort to place Twitter on a healthy path, we will go through the difficult process of reducing our global workforce on Friday, the email said on Thursday. Seen by Reuters, Musk, the world's richest person, is looking to cut around 3,700 staff, or about half the workforce, as he seeks to slash costs and improve demanding new work and impose a demanding new work ethic, according to internal plans reviewed by Reuters last week. The company's content moderation team is expected to be impacted, according to tweets by Twitter staff. Musk has promised to restore free speech while preventing Twitter from descending into a hellscape. However, his now see, this stopped being an article right here, where they go editorial. However, his reassurances have failed to prevent major advertisers from threatening to withdraw from the platform. Volkswagen has recommended... Now, here's the funny thing about this. There was a bunch of journalists out there, and there's a letter writing campaign to all the advertisers of Twitter, telling them telling the advertisers that they need to stop advertising on Twitter because Elon Musk took it over. Because, my God, there's going to be free speech. And boy, oh boy, we wouldn't want to have free speech on a platform where people are out there talking about things happening in the world. So anyway, Volkswagen recommended its brands pause paid advertising on Twitter until further notice in the wake of Musk's takeover. It said Friday its comments echo similar remarks from other firms, including General Motors, General Mills, and so forth and so forth. Anyway, so that's how Reuters is reporting it. Thank you, Tyre Alexander, for being the first person on the... well, let's put it this way. You are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Thank you so much, Tyler Alexander, dropping a bullet in the tip jar saying, so, oh, by the way, it's Funky Friday. Did I mention that? Did y'all notice it was Funky Friday? So, Tyre Alexander's small bullet in the tip jar says... So, you are advocating for Elon to buy the government and lay off 90%, so you are a monarchist, because I'm cool with a restoration of the monarchy of America. Restore the bloodline of Norton the First back to the throne as the Emperor of America. Well, Tyre, not exactly. Stop the music. So my facetiousness was like, well, maybe, because see, Elon can't be president because he was not born in the U.S. He was a naturalized citizen, not a natural born citizen. But the idea of reducing the government workforce by 50%, I'm okay with that. So there you go. Anyway, so there's some problems, though, with this thing that's going on in Twitter right now. Now, here's someone. Oh, by the way, Ben Collins. Ben Collins is part of the Mean Girl journalism crew. He kind of has that same vibe as Taylor Lorenz and Kat Tenbarge and Boozy, who's not really a journalist, but he's all in with those people. I don't know if you know about Boozy. I might have to talk about Boozy one of these days. Maybe when that guy with the nose guy, what's his name? The guy that's going to eventually show up on my show. He keeps saying he is. Anyway, Ben Collins wrote this short little thread about Twitter. He says, employees in Twitter just got an email from their boss saying the layoffs are coming tomorrow. He wrote this yesterday. Those who are staying will get a note tomorrow in their work email. Those who are let go will get an email sent to their personal address. Slot machine style layoffs. Now, look, it's so funny how this is so high profile because they act like there's never been a company on the planet that's laid people off. Hello, Chicago Mike, by the way. I have a beer room at my office. Well, actually, since I work from home, it's my beer and it's my fridge. Well, there you go. I have a beer room in my office too. Well, maybe not here, but anyway. He continues, some employees I'm hearing from at Twitter are desperate to get laid off and get severance. The work culture there is beyond toxic. You know what's hilarious about that sentence? The same people are there. It's not like he changed. When did they close on Twitter? Was it last Friday? You mean it's been toxic for 1 week? Or it's always been toxic? Because it doesn't just like change overnight. The same people are working there. How toxic can it be? Anyway, some are afraid to push back against Elon because they don't want to risk getting fired for cause, disagreeing with Elon, and losing severance. Story coming obvs, as in obviously. Oh, isn't that so cute? Ben, you little bitch. Anyway, and then 13 hours ago, news from me, Twitter will begin mass layoffs on Friday. Some employees are hoping for the axe, blah, blah, blah. So here's the NBC News story by Ben Collins, who is their tech writer, right? He's the tech writer at at NBC News, which means he's just one of the mean girls who's trying to get people, deplatformed. Anyway, so here is, here, let's make it so you can see it a little easier. Should work. By Rob Weil and Ben Collins. As of late last night, 8 o'clock last night, they posted this on NBC News website. Twitter has begun laying off a sizable chunks of the company. The first major move by Elon Musk since this acquisition of the company was completed last week. Twitter told employees in an email sent Thursday evening and seen by NBC News that the company would notify staffers by email about their employment. Quote, "We recognize that this will impact a number of individuals who have made valuable contributions to Twitter, but this action is unfortunately necessary to ensure the company's success moving forward," the email said. The firing immediately prompted a class action lawsuit against Twitter for allegedly failing to give a 60-day warning of mass layoffs. It had been widely reported that Musk planned to slash the company's 7,500-person payroll after he finalized his $44 billion acquisition late last week. He immediately dismissed the CEO, Parag Agrawal. Oh, no! As well as Twitter's chief financial officer and its head of legal, public policy, and trust and safety upon taking over the company. Oh, you mean Vijaya? Vijay? Whatever the hell it is? Whatever her name is?
Congratulations, you played
Twitter
yourself.
employees said Thursday's email was the first communication staff members had received from Twitter since the acquisition, October 27th. It's total chaos, house melting down, everyone looking towards this email, the employees said. According to the email from Twitter, staff members will get notices either through their company email accounts if they still have jobs, or their personal email accounts if their employment is impacted. The company said staffing is being reduced in effort to place Twitter on a healthy path. Worries about layoffs began to emerge before the buyout transaction was complete, but Twitter General Counsel urged employees not to dwell on rumors before Musk took ownership. Some Twitter employees have expressed a desire to be laid off and get severance, and some are concerned that disagreeing with Musk could mean losing their jobs and the exit package. At the end of this nightmare, I better get a cash prize, a Twitter employee said. Yeah. Anyway, meanwhile, Musk has sought to reassure advertisers, saying in a post on Twitter that the platform would not become a free-for-all. He also told the European Union that he planned to comply with the Digital Services Act, which penalizes companies if they do not control illegal content. Well, in Europe, illegal content includes saying mean words. Calling someone an idiot could be illegal content. So there you go. Scott W., welcome to the show. Musk has also promised to loosen rules about what kind of speech is allowed, prompting concerns that the changes could drive away users and advertisers. General Motors announced it would suspend its advertising on the platform. He also said he plans to form a content moderation council that would include widely diverse viewpoints. No changes have been made so far, though. Yeah, because that little group you met with the other day that was pretty much all a bunch of left-wing NGOs, I don't think that's the complete Content Moderation Council. So we'll see. Anyway, reports suggest that hate speech surged in the opening days of Musk ownership on the site. Well, that has nothing to do with him. Musk himself posted a link to a baseless anti-LGBTQ conspiracy theory Sunday about the attack on Pelosi. The husband is, okay, whatever. Who cares? It was among 24 tweets he posted last week, few of which offered any additional clarity about what the site would look like under his leadership. Okay, so Mean Girls kind of stuck with facts, but then he had to throw in some anti-LGBTQ, blah, 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 whatever. Anyway. So let's see. Now, the problem he may have here, though, and it's in this thread by Lisa Bloom. Okay, here we go. So Lisa Bloom decided that she's going to write this thread about how he might be violating the California WARN law, which requires Twitter to give you 60 days notice of a massive layoff. A layoff of 50 employees plus more within a 30-day period qualifies. I know you didn't get that notice. Well, whatever. So she's writing to Twitter employees because Lisa, you know who Lisa Bloom is? Lisa Bloom, who's her mom? Her mom's Gloria Aldrich. Aldrich. You know who that is? The woman who always wears red jacket. She's kind of a, how would you describe Gloria Aldrich? Is it Aldrich? Gloria, whatever her name is. She's the ambulance chasing, the equivalent to an ambulance chasing lawyer, but it usually has to do with she's this kind of a celebrity ambulance chaser, basically. And her daughter is just very much like her, right? So, something happened in the chat here? Is the chat still going? Uh-oh. Let me check YouTube real quick. Let me just check something real quick. Y'all are still good. Oh, that's because maybe this arrow. Let's try this. Okay, we're good. All right. Anyway, all right, so let's get back to this. So she's saying that this WARN law applies to all California employers of 75 plus employees, which obviously includes Twitter with its thousands of employees. The purpose of the law is to give laid off employees time to figure out how to handle this disruption, and Elon completely ignores it. She's hoping that she gets to do the the class action suit, but apparently they're already filing one. Good morning, Gen T. Good morning, Hate Camel. What's up? The WARN, WARN, yes. And I don't know what the acronym. I'll show you the acronym. Yes, exactly, Ty. She's the female Ben Crump, but she's been Ben Crumping for years. Anyway, so Lisa Bloom continues. Employers like Twitter who violate the WARN Act face civil penalties up to $500 a day for each violation. With thousands of employees, this could be significant, though maybe not to Elon. Employees laid off in violation of the WARN Act receive back pay at the employee's final rate or 3 years average of compensation, whichever is higher. The Twitter would also be liable for workers' medical expenses that would have been covered under an employee benefit plan. Twitter will be liable for all these civil penalties. She goes on about this, right? Now, what's interesting, though, is someone posted in a reply to her, a quote tweet, who says, oh, shoot, it's gone. Where'd it go? The idea that, here's the problem, though. Oh, my God. Inevitably, Musk violated the WARN Act with his sudden mass firings, just as he has violated labor, SEC, and anti-discrimination laws in the past. Musk is a habitual white-collar criminal. You know, they loved Elon Musk when he was just making electric cars, but soon as he kind of bucked the leftist trends and political thoughts, boy, did he become a villain suddenly. Anyway, so there's people here, though, that's saying, okay, but Elon didn't warn this guy because of free speech. No, the problem is he would only be violating the WARN Act if he doesn't offer them a severance package of up to 60 days of compensation. So nobody's saying that he's not doing that. It's people are saying, would advise people to actually go read about the WARN Act before thinking everyone laid off is protected by it. There are so many ways to get around it that it's rarely a problem for anyone to conduct big layoffs without any consequences. Twitter is great about misleading people. I want to find the guy, Ben, who said that. So WARN protects employees, their families, and communities by requiring employers to give 60-day notice to the affected employee and both state and local representatives before plant closing or mass layoffs. But if they don't give them compensation, okay? Now, where is it? I want to find this Ben guy who wrote this. Here it is. This is a misleading tweet thread about employment law. All Elon Musk has to do is pay the laid-off employees 2 months' salary benefits to avoid WARN Act violation, and that's if WARN even applies here, which it might not after applying the relevant tests. So they want to go after him for the WARN Act. It may not even apply. Now, he is also, I know I didn't have any of that on the screen. He's also laying off employees in other countries. Now, other countries may have similar laws to that, but who knows? Anyway, So as we go back to some of these articles, The Guardian is also talking about that Twitter sued by former staff as Elon Musk begins mass sackings. Ex-employees say they were not given enough notice under the U.S. federal law over job losses. Now, I don't know what federal law they're talking about. The other people are talking about California law. Twitter is facing a class action lawsuits from former employees who say they were not given enough notice under the U.S. federal law that they had lost their jobs, finding out they had been let go when they were locked out of their work accounts on Thursday. In a company-wide memo, staff were informed on Thursday that they would receive an email that their personal email accounts were being in their personal email accounts that they were being fired as part of the mass sackings at the platform in which half the company would be let go. Before those emails arrived, dozens of staff began posting on Twitter that they had been fired after discovering that they were no longer able to access their work email accounts or log into their work laptops. They shut down the office because they don't want people fucking with Twitter before they go. Mass plans to cut 3,700 staff may hit a roadblock, however, after a lawsuit was filed in U.S. federal court in San Francisco seeking orders for Twitter to comply with the Federal Worker Adjustment and Retraining Notification Act, which requires 60 days notice for mass sackings at large employees. That is not federal law. That is a California law. So the Guardian's got this wrong already. The lawsuit brought on behalf of 5 Twitter employees so far. Says 1 was fired on November 1st, while 3 were not informed at the time of filing but had been locked out of their email accounts. It means nothing. It means nothing whatsoever. A case cited a similar situation with sackings at Musk's other company. No, was it? Oh, you mean at Tesla? Yeah, where the company sought to obtain full release from its obligations under the WARN Act by offering severance of 1 or 2 weeks' pay instead. Plaintiffs here are reasonably concerned that, absent court intervention, Twitter will engage in similar behavior and seek releases from laid-off employees. So anyway, the Guardian got it wrong. The WARN Act is strictly a California law. Sorry, wrong. All right, let's move on. Also trending today is Geraldo Rivera. Now, some of you may have thought Geraldo Rivera was dead, but no, he's not, and he tweeted out some brilliance this morning. Let's see if I can find it. But this thread is gone. Here is Geraldo Rivera tweeted this. Elon Musk has declared all-out war on his former staff. At 9 a.m. Pacific time, massive layoffs go into effect at Twitter with no formal notice and gut-wrenching efficiency. Musk and his inner circle have eliminated about half of its pre-election workforce. 3,700 Twitter jobs gone. Wow, Geraldo. As if there have never been layoffs at companies before. Almost like, but see, Twitter is so important, so much more important than every other country on the planet. Give them $50 McDonald's gift certificates. That's just wrong, Lord Stanhope. I see what you said there. Elon should give them all bus tickets to Canada. Well, there you go. Or free, you know what? Or a free subscription to Parler. There's no such thing. Anyway, did he ever find Al Capone's gold? No, he didn't. So it's funny because and it's funny because remember all those coal miners? Fu says this. Politibuddy, my friend, our friend, what the hell is her? I can't remember her name now. I'm blanking on her name. But anyway, the Fu, also known as Politibuddy from Twitchy, said, "Did you care this much when the coal miners and roughnecks all lost their job days after Biden took office? After all, he eliminated their jobs via an executive order." Oh no, I guess you didn't. Or the thousands of jobs eliminated when Keystone was closed. No, they don't give a shit. In fact, remember the coal miners were losing their job and all of a sudden the trend on learn to code came up, right? And then there was something going on. I can't remember if it was at Twitter or another thing, but some other people, so they were, the big thing was, these coal miners should all learn to code because that's what it was. I think it was Obama said that, or some politician said that, well, they need to learn to code. And so that became a trend. But then some other company that the lefties like, people were beginning to lose their jobs. Oh, it was journalists, because a lot of journalists, right, have been losing their jobs because a lot of these, different so-called journalistic outlets have been laying people off too. And so the trend came back, learn to code, because that's what you said about the coal miners. But on Twitter, do you remember they were not allowed? If you typed in the word learn to code, your account would be suspended. Oh, the irony. The irony. It's amazing. Yeah, journalists losing their job when learn to code became forbidden. Yeah, remember that? Well, there are people who saying learn to weld. Someone said to Geraldo here, do you ever stop crying? You sound sad. You going to be okay? Now do pipeline. Now do the pipeline. Shut up, fool. Anyway, so that's why Geraldo's trending. And lots of people are just ripping on Geraldo. I predict one of these 3,700 employees that got laid off will go on to create a new Twitter app, leaving the old Twitter a ghost town. Well, it's possible. Jack's already coming out with something called Blue Sky or whatever, but we'll see. Just like the mayor of New York declared war on the police and healthcare workers and fired them for being healthy. Ding! Anyway, lots of people are laughing and yelling at Geraldo. Geraldo, were you silent when Biden shut down any opportunity for the Keystone Pipeline? Where were those green jobs? And where are those green jobs? Yeah, these people could go get green jobs. They could do that too. I wasn't even thinking of that. Newsflash, Geraldo. That's what normally happens after mergers or acquisitions. Why are you making it sound like there's something nefarious going on? Good question. Geraldo just needs to go to This is CNN. Twitter's a business. Elon Musk has studied Twitter for years. Oh, no, he hasn't. I don't think he's studied Twitter for years. I don't think Elon Musk knows what he got into when he bought Twitter, but that's just my personal opinion. And I don't know how it's going to continue. Although people like to bitch on Twitter, so maybe they will stay on Twitter. A lot of these people say they're leaving Twitter. They keep announcing they're leaving Twitter. And I still say, girl, don't go away mad. Just go away. And stop announcing your departure. Just go. Get the fuck out of here. Oh, wait. Here's February 21st, 2021. And this was the only thing I could find. The text reads sympathetic at first, but then you listen to the video and it's all about Donald freaking Trump. LOL. So here's Geraldo saying, Dear Joe Biden, stop future pipelines if you must. Do not stop work on Keystone, already half built and over 10,000 jobs. Reminds me of Hillary Clinton called to close coal mine and teach miners to program computers. Yeah, that was where the learn to code came from. And then the journalists started to lose their job. And everyone said, well, maybe they should learn to code. Well, maybe the Twitter people should learn to weld. All right, that's enough. You can read more Geraldo Salt and or Geraldo Smackdowns on your own. Let's move to the elections that are coming up, because, oh my God, yesterday I was talking about how the media is really just, they're kind of having a meltdown, but they're also, they're doing a lot of doomsday shit right now. Good morning, Swirly. That's a new name. Welcome to the show. By the way, obviously, if you're in the chat, you have subscribed, because you can't chat. Go in the chat unless you subscribe, because those stupid bots. I hate those bots. And the bot problem went away as soon as I made people subscribe for 5 minutes. But if you're listening and you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe thing and click that bell thing to get notifications, or just follow me on Twitter or Minds, Gab, Parler, all those places. If there's a social media out there, except for Truth Social, I've not signed up for Truth Social, but most other social media, I am Dawg Knight on those. Although on Instagram, I am Yes That Marty, and I also have a Yes That Marty channel on YouTube. I also have a Marty's Big Journey channel on YouTube, which I haven't used extensively yet. But if you want to find other places where I am, there is, if either look for Dawg Knight, or my link tree is in the description down below, where you can just click that and find me wherever you need to find me. Also, I'm going to start using my local site a little more. I'm going to use that in lieu of Patreon. I don't have it completely ready to go, but I'd like to use that like Patreon, where you can get do some monthly stuff there and do some special stuff over there for subscribers over there, because I'm trying to be a little more business-like with this, even though it's been a playground for me for a long time. I do want to try to, let's put it this way. I want to get rid of my noon gig, and I think it's possible if I grow this channel and treat it more like a business. Right now, it's just me having fun, which is okay too. I won't stop having fun, but anyway. So the elections are, oh boy, the elections, the media is either in a panic, or they think that certain topics they talk about are going to sway people's votes between now and Tuesday. And so one of the big topics on Twitter this morning is this one, which, they've kind of flipped it a little bit. Let's see here. Did they get rid of this? Voters look ahead to the upcoming 22 midterm elections. And this is how Twitter describes it. Voters head to the polls across the U.S. on Tuesday to cast their ballots in the November 8th midterm elections, which are held during the second year of the four-year presidential period, during the second year of the president's four-year period in office. Control of the House and the Senate is often decided by just a few seats. Keep here for the latest. Oh, I can't. I'm waiting with bated breath. So it's funny. Some of the articles that are coming out, or some of the people talking, like here's Reuters. I pulled out a few highlight ones. Here's Reuters. Listen to the tone of some of these articles. This ballot processing center in Washington State's largest county is aiming for radical transparency as fears grow of political violence and misinformation on election integrity. Now, let's watch their little video here.
This Washington State facility is buzzing with election workers processing ballots, with just a few days to go until the midterm elections. As concerns run high about misinformation and disinformation regarding election integrity.
Whoa, there it is. They want to talk about misinformation and disinformation, because that's the big scary word right now.
And growing fears of political violence.
By the way, in Washington State, did they really explain what midterm means? Yes, they did. It's really dumb. In Washington State, if there's political violence, excuse me, I've got a little of my coffee. By the way, I do have the coffee here. In Washington State, if there's political violence, who are the most likely to perpetrate political violence? Because I'm pretty sure they have an idea who they think who caused political violence, and I know exactly who is most likely to cause political violence. It's sort of a rhetorical question, but if you want to answer that question, that's fine. Let's keep going.
King County Election Director Julie Wise says this race is different than
Seattle.
any other she's seen in more than 2 decades of work.
Oh my gosh, different than any other she's
And I've never, ever seen a climate like the one we currently are in, where some could argue that there's a war on democracy.
Oh my God, a war on democracy!
Elections itself, especially on vote by mail for the last couple of years.
Yeah, because vote by mail. Now, look, I'm sure it's going to be another one of the most secure elections in history, and there's absolutely no chance of anything going wrong with vote by mail. Well, in Washington, see, by the way, in the state of Washington, I think you can do all vote by mail, and so who they mail the ballots to is never under a suggestion that there might be any shenanigans, because it's the most perfect and most honest election in history. But
voter fraud is extremely rare, but a Reuters Ipsos poll from earlier this week found that nearly half of Americans believe it's a widespread
see
problem.
what they did there? See what they did there? I'm not going to read that. They can see what the corner there is, and then they got this. Oh, yeah.
So Wise and her crew are operating here with what she calls radical transparency.
Good.
See,
That should be the way it is everywhere. Radical transparency. Radical transparency.
there are more than 50 cameras at the facility, and people can watch a dozen online. Election materials are
Good.
kept for at least 22 months. There's also a record number of political party observers getting training on how the process works. Wise said it's key to make sure people know there is bipartisan observation at every step.
Yes, that's
and that
great.
voting by mail is safe.
Because when they're here, they also get all of their questions answered.
Good.
I'd say vote by mail is the most
Contentious?
secure, accurate,
Contentious?
and accessible election system that we have in this
Really? Okay. If you say so.
country.
You know, American democracy is under attack.
But federal and local officials are worried. In a speech on Wednesday, President Joe Biden said when politicians cast doubt on elections, democracy itself is at risk.
When politicians cast doubt on elections, okay, which politicians? Which politicians?
This intimidation, this violence against Democrats, Republicans, and nonpartisan officials.
Did he say against Democrats, Republicans, and nonpartisan officials?
Democrats, Republicans, and nonpartisan officials just doing their jobs are the consequence of lies told for power and profit. We have to confront those lies with the truth.
What up, Mystic?
The very future of our nation depends on it.
Back at the processing center outside Seattle, Wise is confident her team is up to the task and able to safely and securely handle over 1 million mail-in and Dropbox ballots.
We use
And
experts
again, that's
that did
because they do
security
that in
in
Washington.
casinos so that we're keeping our ballots just as secure as money.
Well, that's good. Okay, good. I think that's the way it should be everywhere. Okay, I have no problem with that. Do you have a problem with that? I don't have a problem with that. So, and then they have an article here too. Now, this is interesting because the title of the article is fascinating to me. Democrats aim to hold the line against heavy U.S. midterm election losses. Democrats aim to hold the line against heavy U.S. midterm losses. They're kind of being predictive here. Real quick before that, though, thank you for the super chat, Scott W. Big bullet in the tip jar. I think everyone's vote should be made public. That would solve all the problems. No, I don't agree with that. I know where you're going. I don't think that's necessary. I don't think people need to know who I voted for. I think it just needs, I do 100% believe in voter ID, though, and also making sure that people who vote are citizens. That's why I'm very, even though mail-in voting is the most secure and safe way to vote in the world, I just think that there are so many problems. For example, in Arizona, where the Secretary of State, who's also running for governor, accidentally sent out 30,000 military ballots. Or is it 30,000, 3,000? Maybe it's 3,000. Might have been 30,000. A whole bunch of military ballots with fake names on them. Now, in Arizona, you don't have to... The only type of ballots that do not have to be verified of who sent them, guess what that might be? Oh, shocker, military ballots. Now she said it was an accident. It was an accident, right? But it's just, it's a coincidence. I'm not saying that it's not the most secure election ever in the history of America in Arizona this year, but it's just an anomaly. It's just an accident, and good thing they caught it. Or in the one state, I think in Milwaukee, was it, that some state election worker is under arrest because she wanted to, oh no, that was in Milwaukee, and 30,000 mail-in ballots were sent out in Arizona. That wasn't the military ones. It's in Milwaukee where they don't have to count the military type ballots. And so one of the state election workers decided to test it and sent a bunch of these ballots to one of the state representatives or the people running for state representative. And then the state representatives called it out because it was a whistleblowing operation. Now that person's under indictment for doing that, but it's funny. It's they seem to have, just strangely been able to do that, and it's not a good thing. Anyway, thank you, Scott, so much for sponsoring the show. Appreciate you. Also, Tyler. Oh, I didn't do the music. I forgot to do the music. I apologize, Scott. On Friday, it's Funky Friday. We always try to put some music to the chats. Here's one from Tyler Alexander. It says, voted early, no ID check, no verification of who I am. Thank God I have a code of honor because I could have started voting for several of my neighbors without them even knowing. Baltimore sucks, but it is a Democrat stronghold. So yeah. A lot of places, thank you for sponsoring the show. A lot of places, you don't necessarily have to prove who you are. Although what they do, like for example, where I live, now, I haven't had to register to vote probably in, I'm going to say, almost 20 years. Ever since I got a driver's license when I moved to this county, I have with my driver's renewal, I renew my voter registration apparently. And so I get a notice of where my polling location is when I get every year or every time there's a election. And then I go vote, and then when I go, they never check ID. At least did they last year? Maybe they did last year. When you early vote, I think you have to show an ID, or just prove that it's you. But in the past, like in my precinct, I just go there and they say, okay, what's your name? And they find my name on the list, and then I sign my name, and then I go vote. So technically, I suppose somebody could do that, get all the names of their neighbors, and go multiple times and do that. I don't know if that's. But at least they have a list of who's eligible to vote. And if you don't, if you're not registered, then you can register, but they hold those ballots and then they do it later. But anyway, it's kind of a weird system. So anyway, thank you, Tyre. All right. Now this is the Democrats aim to hold the line against heavy U.S. midterm election losses. That's predictive. The Reuters article of Abigail Spanberger, a moderate congresswoman from a liberal-leaning Virginia district outside Washington, loses her re-election on Tuesday. It could be the harbinger of a midterm bloodbath for the Democratic Party. What? That was why Spanberger was at a winery this week, imploring volunteers to hit the phone. Her once comfortable lead had shrunk to nothing. We have a toss-up race, she said. There's work to be done. Well, there's some wine to be drunk, too. That's why would I be at the winery. Like Spanberger, Democratic candidates across the country are intensifying their efforts to stave off what increasingly looks like a Republican wave that could result in the loss of more than 20 seats in the U.S. House of Representatives and perhaps control of both chambers of Congress. The grim outlook for some Democrats, or has some Democrats second-guessing their party's midterm messaging, which emphasizes the threat Republicans pose to abortion rights and democracy in a year when voters have said they are most concerned about the economy and crime. Duh! Polls continue to show voters frustrated over high consumer prices and blaming the party in power from the President Biden on down. Reuters Ipsos poll conducted October 31st and November 1st showed 69% 69% of Americans believe the country is on the wrong track, compared to just 18% who said it was headed in the right direction. A few months ago, Spanberger was among the Democratic incumbents who appeared relatively safe, but a flood of Republican... Oh my God. I can't believe they wrote this sentence. I can't believe they wrote this sentence. Listen to this. Again. A few months ago, Spanberger was among the Democratic incumbents who appeared relatively safe, but a flood of Republican PAC money barrage of TV ads blaming Democrats for staggering inflation and letting violent criminals back on the streets, and voter antipathy have helped the Republican opponents close the gap. Wait a minute. A flood of Republican PAC money? I haven't seen anything in this. I swear to God, maybe it's just my state, but the Democrats are out barraging me with ads, which I see very little anyway. Probably 5-1. A flood of Republican PAC money is why. How about because you people suck? That could be part of the problem too. Maybe that's why you're losing ground. And they just think that Republicans will suck less because it may not improve anything. But damn, what are you talking about? We are seeing lots of races that were thought to be as unwinnable become winnable, said Doug Hay, once a top aide to former Republican House leader Eric Cantor, who represented the same district as Stanberger at campaign. Okay, so they're talking about her. Why are they dwelling on her? Because she's the typical swing state or moderate Democrat. Are there really any moderate Democrats right now? I find that hard to believe. Anyway, so it's a sob story about why Republican PAC money and barrage of these. Hey, let me ask you all a question. If you've seen any ads, or have you seen any ads from Democrats about abortion? I bet you have. If it's about a Republican abortion, they plan to they plan to outlaw abortion even in cases of rape and incest. I'm hearing those ads everywhere, and I'm seeing it all over the internet. Get the fuck out of here. Every ad I see is for Kathy Hochul. Yeah, she's struggling too. Anyway, this is a stupid article. And also, the Washington Post gets in the game. Again, this is their other new pitch because they want to talk about election deniers. By next year, election deniers could be in charge of their state's elections, including in key swing states for the 2024 presidential race. Well, okay, let's say that some of these election deniers end up winning those Secretary of State's races. Do you think that they're going to make elections more secure if they can, or less secure? I'm just curious, but here's what they're worried about. First, we're going to play their little 50-second video here.
Election deniers are running for Secretary of State positions in key states. Here's what they could do if they're elected. First of all, they can make it harder to vote.
How? Is it? Oh my God. Harder to vote for? Wait, when they say harder to vote, by the way, harder to vote for who? See, they're going to imply that they make it hard for black people and old people and people of color and the marginalized to vote. No, they make it harder for people that aren't supposed to vote. Who's this person? This is the New York Times. This is New York Times national reporter. Is that what this is? This is the Washington Post, the Washington Compost. Anyway, I'll back it up just a little bit.
Can make it harder to vote. For example, by limiting mail-in voting options and deciding.
Yeah, I have no problem with that because I think that's the worst way. I don't. That's my personal opinion. It's not. It's the safest and securest way of all times ever. YouTube, shut up.
Deciding which signatures are accepted. They can also allow election.
Oh, you mean they have to match the signatures? Oh no! Oh, how terrible! They would have to match signatures. Oh my God, that is so terrible. And that they would have to match signatures because that would be terrible.
Results to be audited and recounted over and over again, no matter how legitimate the reason is. They could even refuse to certify election results, eroding public trust in democracy.
Because there's such high trust in public democracy right now. The highest ever.
The Post's Amber Phillips explains that these Secretary of State jobs are crucial, even if they don't get a lot of attention. They're basically the chief elections official for many states.
So are these people trying to erode the trust in our American election system by saying that these elections, which could be won by people that the voters choose through a democratic process, may be bad for democracy because these people are being voted in through the democratic process? I'm not sure what they're trying to say here. Well, you know what they're trying to say, that if it's not Democrats, It's not good. That's what they're saying.
Election denying candidates are running for these positions
Jethro
in Michigan, Arizona, and Nevada. Whoever wins these races on Tuesday will play a key role in how the 2024 presidential election will be run and whether people can trust the results.
See what they're doing? See what they're doing what Hillary Clinton did. They're saying that they're already putting people in place so they can cheat. That's what they're saying. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to go all Joe Biden on you and shit. That's what they're saying. And so they got a whole article here about it. What an election timer could do if it elected Secretary of State. So and it's the same thing as the video if you want to read their bullshit. From the Washington Post. Oh no! Charlie Kirk's Turning Point USA and its affiliates have boosted Kari Lake and other allies in Arizona as they work to purge officials who affirm the 2020 election results. This is that election denier thing. How pro-Trump youth group remade Arizona GOP. Testing democracy. Okay, this is hilarious. Thank you, Scott W. Again, another 556. Honestly, at this point, I'm kind of rooting for a Gilead type of society. I think we are due for a course correction. All right, thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Yeah. Oh, music. Let me do that again. Hey, I need a new song though. I'm tired of this one. Hang on. Let me give you some new funky music for, I don't even know which one we're on here. Let's just try this one. I'll read it again. Thank you, Scott W. I'm going to say that one again because it needs some music. Honestly, at this point, I'm kind of rooting for a Gilead type of society. I think we are due for a course correction. Thank you again, Scott. I appreciate you, man. Welcome to the show. All right, stop the music. So this article I was a little more interested in because I'm trying to figure out how Turning Point USA has been able to influence the entire state of Arizona. According to this, it sounds like they worked to purge officials who affirmed the 2020 election results. Did they? The young conservative activist had a plan, and if he wanted a veteran Arizona House Speaker to push it, the two men huddled at a barbecue. They huddled. You sure they didn't cuddle? I'm not sure. At a barbecue joint in January, as the activist Tyler Bowyer, the chief operating officer of the pro-Trump youth group Turning Point USA, unspooled his demands. Republican legislatures, he insisted, should carve up the booming and fast diversifying Maricopa County, diluting the power of Democrats in a state that had helped deliver Joe Biden the presidency. But the Republican House Speaker, Rusty Bowers, ultimately balked at redrawing the state's map to seize partisan advantage. As the pair's political differences grew, the activist, who was half the speaker's age, vowed revenge. Oh, no.
Resist, we must.
Rusty, I will be working toward ensuring that you do not win your election in 2022, Bowyer warned in March in a text message obtained by the Washington Post. Obtained? You mean you got it from Bowyer or whatever? I appreciate your service. I will do whatever it takes to ensure you are retired. Soon the state legislature faced a rush of ridicule on social media and negative ads as Turning Point's political arm launched a campaign, Replace Rhino Rusty. The speaker lost his primary for an open state Senate seat in August to a Turning Point-backed Republican who called the 2020 election a conspiracy theory headed by the devil himself. The takedown of one of the most powerful Republicans in the state illustrates the rise of Turning Point USA and its network of affiliates, which have pushed beyond their core mission of energizing college conservatives to turn Arizona into a laboratory for a new brand of Republican organizing. The decade-old nonprofit organization has helped transform the state GOP, seeking to elevate acolytes of former President Donald Trump and purge old guard centrists who led in the tradition of none other than John McCain. Ha! He's a great man. Oh, hello, IT1 SWUSN retired, U.S. Navy retired. Welcome to the show. I'd like to see you here. Let's see. The group's success reflected in the Republican midterm election slate. Nearly every statewide candidate and many of those farther down the ballot have embraced Trump's false claims that the 2020 election was rigged. The political career of Carrie Lake, the state's GOP gubernatorial nominee, took off at a Turning Point event last year, and she has filled her campaign staff with former Turning Point employees. Lake has promised, if elected, to overhaul how votes are cast and counted in the pivotal swing state. Look, there's really, isn't there only really one way to count votes, and that is to count them? How do you, maybe, but you know what I think every state needs to do, though? I think every state needs, if they're going to do the mail-in ballot stuff or the early voting shit, that shit should be counted on election day, and it shouldn't take 3 or 4 days to count it, or in some cases up to a week. That should be the law. Election day in the Constitution is a specific day, right? Why does it take? Look, and I'm not saying that that's right or wrong. Well, I am, but I'm not. Why do they have to? Should it take days after the election to get all the votes counted? It shouldn't, because some of these states wait until after the polling closes to count all of the early votes or all the mail-in votes. Why? Why don't they immediately start counting them? They should have legions of people out there counting them, running them through the machines or whatnot. I've never understood that. But anyway, they have a bigger impact than any other Republican group I know, said Jeff DeWitt, former state treasurer in Arizona, who served as chief operating officer for both of Trump's presidential campaigns. They are more powerful than the RNC, he said, referring to the Republican National Committee. This account of Turning Point's request to remake the Arizona Republican Party is based on audio recordings of private meetings, personal messages, and interviews with more than 80 people, including current and former Turning Point employees, public officials and their staffers, political consultants, and state and local party activists who have interacted with the nonprofit's leaders. Most spoke on the condition of anonymity to share sensitive details or avoid professional reprisal. Well, it's interesting that the Washington Post has an in with all these people. It's amazing. It's amazing that the Washington Post, people that probably people from Turning Point wouldn't trust, have all this inside information. That's fantastic. It's really, really reassuring. The Post Review found that Turning Point, which forged an early alliance with the pro-Trump movement in 2016, devised an aggressive strategy to enforce discipline and purity in a divided GOP that was struggling to overcome Democratic gains in the state. The group recruited like-minded activists into the party ranks and often used provocative rhetoric online to pressure old guard Republicans and barrage the left, as one internal document put it, while creating a new political action committee to pour hundreds of thousands of dollars into statewide and legislative campaigns. Nationally, Turning Point was solidified its identity in the MAGA era. Like Trump, Turning Point leaders gravitate toward messages primed to go viral on social media, including a recent call for a hero to bail out of jail the man accused of assaulting the husband of House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. What? Wait, what? What are they talking about? Let's see what they linked here. And who said this? Charlie Kirk calls for his audience to post bail for Pelosi attacker. If some amazing patriot out there in San Francisco or the Bay Area wants to be really a midterm hero, someone should go out and bail this guy out. Bail him out and go ask him some questions. So not the purpose to make it. Here.
I mean, I'm looking at Politico.com. I'm looking at the New York Times. I'm looking at all these places, and there's a little bit of mention here. For example, Politico says top Republicans reject any link between GOP rhetoric and Paul Pelosi assault.
Now,
of course you should reject any link. Why is the Republican Party, why is the conservative movement to blame for gay schizophrenic nudists that are hemp jewelry makers breaking into somebody's home?
Interesting. Why did he suggest they bail him out? Not just to bail him out as a hero. The hero would be the person bailing him out and asking him some real questions. I'm guessing that's where this is going. But it's interesting how in their article, including a recent call for a hero to bail out out of jail the man accused of assaulting husband of House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. They make it sound like it'd be a hero to bail that guy out because, oh, that guy's just a great guy. Whereas what he's saying here, let's listen to the rest of this.
Or maybe not breaking into somebody's home. Why are we to blame for that exactly? And why is he still in jail? Why has he not been bailed out? By the way, because
you know, this is San Francisco where they don't, you know, people don't, the bail thing, they don't like the bail thing. They let people out of jail for a lot of things. But apparently, well, obviously, this is a very powerful political family that they're not going to let him out. But it's interesting because they do it for other people in San Francisco. But anyway, I don't think his point was to make him the hero and bail him out for just to bail him out.
Some amazing patriot out there in San Francisco or the Bay Area wants to really be a midterm hero, someone should go and bail this guy out. I bet his bail's like $30,000 or $40,000. Bail him out and then go ask him some questions. I wonder what his bail is. They're going after him with attempted murder, political assassination, all this sort of stuff. I'm not qualifying it. I think it's awful. It's not right.
Why are they mailing him out, Charlie?
But why is it that in Chicago you're able to commit murder and be out the next day? Why is it that you're able to trespass, second-degree murder, arson, threat of public official, cashless bail? This happens all over San Francisco, but if you go after the Pelosi's, oh, you're let out immediately.
Interesting. I'm curious of what he meant by that. But it sounded like in the beginning he was saying to ask him some questions because they were wondering why they're affiliating the guy with him, with the right. Can't stand Charlie Kirk either. I can't either, AD. I don't like Charlie Kirk at all. But anyway, here's what they do though. Charlie Kirk, founder, now 29, was the 10th biggest super spreader of misinformation about the 2020 election on Twitter, according to the Election Integrity Project. Now, a consortium of research, a consortium of left-wing activists. But anyway, this is very interesting that I did not know that they were doing this much work in Arizona, but I don't care. Let me just be honest with you. All right, let's also, but I wanted to go through some of the more articles of what the media is doing. Fox News, even left-leaning media calls out Democrats like Katie Hobbs dodging debates. Don't you have an obligation? So that's the Fox News story. And let's see. Oh, there are people out here bitching about the election already because they know that Democrats are going to lose. This guy, David Rothschild, has a thread all talking on this platform about whether or not Democrats ran a good campaign. Misses this simple fact. Regardless of what topics Democrats choose to focus on is basically irrelevant because mainstream media chooses to focus on whatever Republicans tell them to focus on. Anyone want to guess where this guy's from? Or who is most likely to agree with that? His argument, and he goes down there and tries to show examples how the Republicans influence the media, right? Including the New York Times. He's claiming that mainstream media focuses on whatever Republicans tell them to focus on. Wow. I believe, isn't he a fellow at Media Matters? Economist tweets reflect me only. Okay. Study. Poll, market, social media, online status to study, news, public opinions. Okay. I do know that a lot of people from media, Oliver Willis is the one who retweeted this guy. That's how I found him. Former Media Matters for American fellow and just Democrat talking point machine. Democratic mistake is not choosing democracy or abortion or inflation as a main topic or moving too far to the left or too far to the right. It is all irrelevant because Republicans bully mainstream media and Democrats don't. So mainstream media bends to Republicans, full stop. So you mean when in the 2020 election, when that little article, Time Magazine, celebrating the fact that the media did their job by keeping Trump out of office. Like they all conspired, and the White House, and even currently in the White House comes and tells social media what they should ban and all this stuff that the actual government does. That it's the mainstream media bending to Republicans. Meta to see Republicans attacking this threat is crazy talk. They have been told for decades mainstream media is against them, that they should attack mainstream media, but they don't realize that they are just a part of the strategy to bully mainstream media further into submission. Yes, he's serious. You got to look at the thread. I'm out of time, but let me just do this. Oprah Winfrey. This is the big news today, too. Oprah's trending because she has, I guess, endorsed John Fetterman, and that's the November surprise. Oprah knows Dr. Oz very well and decided to support us for many reasons. Best November surprise. So here's Oprah. 16 seconds of Oprah.
I said it was up to the citizens of Pennsylvania, and of course, but I will tell you all this, if I lived in Pennsylvania, I would have already cast my vote for John Fetterman for many reasons.
Okay. Many reasons. I wonder what those are. So lots of people. Breaking, Oprah Winfrey endorses John Fetterman. And everyone's talking about Oprah Winfrey announces her support for Dr. Oz's opponent, John Fetterman. Winfrey shares news during a virtual voting conversation. Oh, well, there you go. Oh, wait a minute. This is a good time to post this Dave Chappelle clip when he was on Oprah. What's this, hon?
And I knew I was going to leave, so I got ahead of schedule, and I bounced. And I didn't tell anybody where I was going. The whole time, they're trying to convince me I'm insane.
Okay, hang on. I don't need that. I don't care about that. But some people are excited that, holy shit, Oprah Winfrey just endorsed John Fetterman over Oz because, Oz got his, his big deal came from being on a Oprah Winfrey show. But whatever. Am I supposed to be surprised Oprah Winfrey is a Democrat? No. So anyway, they're excited. Oprah. Do you think Pennsylvanians care? I don't know. Maybe they do. Maybe they all waited to hear from what Oprah Winfrey thought before they decide who they're going to vote for. So the New York Times had to post this too. Oprah Winfrey, instrumental in the rise of Dr. Mehmet Oz, the celebrity television doctor and Republican Senate nominee in Pennsylvania, said that she would support his Democratic opponent, Lieutenant Governor John Fetterman, in the tightly contested race. Well, Oprah won't be voting in Pennsylvania, but that's okay. Now I can say this without any sarcasm. Oh my God, whatever. Oprah Winfrey should know that Pennsylvania is red. Okay, I don't know. Anyway, that's what they're talking about. ABC News, husband of Minnesota candidate heard promoting formation of SWAT team to police poll workers. Oh no! Minnesota election officials are working to coordinate law enforcement responsibilities on Election Day after the husband of a GOP nominee for the state's top election post was heard on leaked recording calling for off-duty law enforcement officers to police poll workers at election sites in apparent violation of state regulations. Okay, wait a minute. I mean, he said something about that, but then is it a violation of state regulations to say it or for it to actually happen? In an audio recording, what year is this? Is this year? In an audio recording of a Tea Party Patriots meeting in Champlin, Minnesota last month, Marty Probst, the husband of Minnesota GOP Secretary of State candidate Kim Crockett, is heard urging conservative supporters to send sheriffs and deputies to form an Election Day SWAT team. If you got friends or family, whatever, in sheriff deputies or sheriffs, we need them on Election Day, Probst said. That's part of the SWAT team to get out when certain places don't follow the rules they are supposed to. The comments represent a growing trend across the country in which some supporters of former President Donald Trump driven by misinformation surrounding the results of the 2020 election are recruiting off-duty law enforcement and ex-military personnel to serve as poll watchers. They won't be able to do something with this election the way they did in 2020. I can't say the words because YouTube is weird. I can't even read an article from the Minneapolis Star Tribune and not have and say that, and I'll still get in trouble. Anyway, that's the type of audio you get now because more misinformation out there. Now, the only other thing I'm going to finish with is we got the jobs numbers today, just the last job numbers before the election. Wall Street Journal, U.S. added 261,000 jobs, and the jobless rate rose to 3.7% in the final set of employment data released ahead of the midterm elections on November 8th. Full-time workers... Wait, what? Full-time workers down 433,000. Part-time workers up 164,000. That doesn't add up. I'm not sure about that. I don't know what that reply meant. Inflation went up. Remember, we lost 1 million plus to COVID. Numbers aren't normal. Anyway, those projections they're a little bit higher than the projections were. What's this? Oh, that's supposed to be over there. Here's the article from the Wall Street Journal. Friday's employment report will offer a fresh read on the state's labor markets. Wait a minute. Non-farm payrolls up 263,000. While employers have continued to add jobs at a solid clip, the pace of growth has started to slow. Employment grew by an average of 372,000 a month over the 3-month ended in September, a slowdown from the same period a year earlier when it averaged 543,000. Well, again, those numbers a year ago was when they started opening shit up. Employers are still adding jobs at a much faster pace than before the pandemic. In 2019, job gains averaged 164,000 a month because we were almost at full employment then. Wage gains have started to slow but remain well above where they were before the pandemic. Annual increases in average hourly earnings hit 5.6% in March and have drifted downwards since then, slowing to 5% in September. Economists surveyed by the Wall Street Journal estimated that employers added 205,000 jobs in October, down from 263 in September, with the unemployment rate holding at 3.5%. So I think ABC put this out. Yes, ABC just added 261,000 jobs in October, exceeding economists' expectations and sending a positive signal for the economy days before the midterm elections. Yeah. And unemployment rate increased 3.7%, which means more people are looking for jobs, that the way they count them. Interesting. All right. And let's see. The last things I had open, Leah Thomas is trending. Who cares? Chris Matthews is trending. Apparently he was on some show this morning and the lefties are really mad because everybody hates Chris Matthews. 63% of Americans was trending this morning because of this weird stat. 63% of Americans support the idea of new stimulus checks to combat inflation, according to a Newsweek poll. Anybody? Anybody? I'm sure everyone loves the government sending them checks for free. However, let's talk about how we got into the inflation problem in the first place. So a lot of people are making fun of this idea. 63% of Americans don't understand what got us into the inflation mess in the first place. True. 63% of Americans would vote for a new stimulus check to combat inflation per poll. In another example showing the fundamental problem with democracy is the ignorance of the masses. 63% of Americans need to retake basic economics. Now, here's the one that surprised me, though. This one says, saw a comment that, oh, wait a minute, that's not the one. Here, that's 63% of Americans who love to take, and they are largely in the deep red states with the highest poverty rates. Also, they're basically blaming this on MAGA people. Saw a comment that MAGAs are happy with DeSantis now because now we aren't thinking about abortion. Shockingly, the rest of America is able to focus and be angry about many things all at once. 63% of Americans think the Supreme Court screwed up. We aren't forgetting anything. I don't think that has nothing to do with it. Someone was trying to blame this on the MAGA people, though. That 63% of Americans, because MAGA like to take, right? Anyway, most people are ridiculing this poll. Oh, wait, Kyle Griffith, what is he saying? Of course, he's bringing this to Trump. 63% of Americans believe the DOJ should bring legal action against elected officials who misled Americans about the outcome of an election. 67% the DOJ should bring legal action against elected officials who attempt to overturn the results of an election. Oh, he's going to be obsessed with that forever. Anyway, stupid people. And then finally, J.K. Rowling's trending because Warner Brothers Discovery CEO David Zaslav says he's interested in making more Harry Potter films if something can be worked out with author J.K. Rowling. So everyone who hates J.K. Rowling because she thinks women are a specific biological thing are going to be bitching about J.K. Rowling for the rest of the day because of the idea that they might make another movie. And then also that Daniel Radcliffe does not stand with J.K. Rowling's anti-trans beliefs. So they keep showing his picture too. So FTG. All right, gang, it is time for me to call it a day because, it's a day. Thank you for joining me today on the Morning Night Live. I am here Monday through Friday, 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central, and whatever it is, GMT. I have no idea, so I'm not going to tell you GMT anymore. But let's just remember, before you hit the buttons that take you away from my beautiful face, hit the like button. There's 30 people, 20 likes. Hit the plus button or the thumbs up or the whatever that the fist the old Rumble side of the place. Hello, Sully, by the way. And do all that stuff that I say to do every day. And be nice to somebody today. Give somebody a compliment today. That's the ending thought of the day. Give somebody a compliment. If you're watching on the replay, by the way, put a comment in the comment section, either on Rumble and or YouTube. And also, make sure you're subscribed on both Rumble and YouTube, just in case. You know what I'm saying? All right, gang. Oh, Annalyn, hi there. I see you. I got to go, guys. Thanks for being here. My name's Dawg Knight. And I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Hey, this is Dawg Knight, and thank you for watching today on the Dawg Knight Channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here.